Nice
Hi,
to meet you, bro.
nice to meet you too.
What's your name? Where you from?
My name is Mitja. I'm from Slovenia, but currently I'm in Dubai. So we're very close, probably.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
So, how old are you, bro?
I'm 25. I'm going to turn 26 next month. So getting older.
Nice, G, nice. And
Yeah.
tell me, how long have you been a member of the real world for?
3 or maybe even 4 years. At the
Oh,
time when
wow.
I joined, yeah, when I joined the real world, it was still named the Hustlers University. So I think I'm the OG.
Nice, bro. And which campus are you in?
Right now, I'm mostly active in social media campus and especially AI campus, which is mostly what I do these days.
Lovely, bro. Lovely. And how has the real world been for you? Tell us your story. Tell us a bit about what you've done inside these campuses and how you've
Well,
progressed.
uh, it's been amazing so far because at the time when I joined the real world, I was still working in a factory. I was working night shifts. I was working almost every day, weekends, and So yeah, at the time when I wanted to join the real world, I had a skill. I was a music producer, which I still am today, but I didn't know how to monetize the skill. And yeah, at the time when I was working in factory, every now and then when I had a break, I was always scrolling through my phone, and I found the Tate content. The first content of Tate which ever existed on the YouTube. So at the time, I remember I followed him. He was at 400K followers on Instagram, so that was before COVID area. And yeah, a lot of things which he said made a lot of sense, which is why I joined his school. And at the beginning, I joined the client acquisition campus from Dylan. And yeah, there I learned how to get my first clients, which was mind blowing to me because at the time, like I said, I had a skill, but every time I sent out any kind of email approaching my prospects, I never got any reply. Or even if I did receive the reply, it was usually a no. So there was a template which Dylan shared with the students, which was a bit different from the template I was using before that. And in that template, the biggest change was that I was offering my service for free in exchange for a testimonial. So that way you build trust, that way you build meaningful connection, and the prospect doesn't have anything to lose. So that was one of the best methods I started using in my emails. And once I started using that, I got seriously high number of responses. And even people who previously didn't want to work with me started working with me. So yeah, that was a big change in mentality, and that's how I got my first online clients, and that's also how I got my first online revenue, which very quickly changed my whole perspective on how I make money, how I see the world. And thanks to the real world, I was able to quit my 9 to 5 job over a year after I joined. So here I am now in Dubai a few years later.
Amazing, bro. Amazing.
Yeah.
And which package are you currently signed up to in the real world?
I
Is it the
think it's the
Heroes
regular.
Year?
No. It's the regular $50 per year per month.
Regular $50 per month. And are you going
Yes.
to join the Champions package of the Heroes Year to avoid it when it goes up in price when the Real World 2.0 is launched?
Yes, definitely. I need to do that. Yeah,
And
definitely.
in terms of value, how would you describe the real world in terms of value?
Well, it completely changed my life, so I would say it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
I've, what are the core principles for you inside the real world when you enter a campus? What are the core principles for you?
Well, what I really like about not just the campus, but the whole idea of the real world is that, you box, right? You do boxing.
Well, I used to box competitively, but these days I
Oh,
just train. I'm hopefully going
okay.
to have a fight this year. Funny enough.
Oh, nice, nice. Congratulations. Yeah, so you know exactly how it is when you see other people fighting. You just you become competitive and you want to become better because you just see that others are doing better than you, right?
Hmm.
And I use the real world a lot of times as a fuel because when you go to the winning channel, you see so many people making lots and lots of money, and I want to compete with those people. I want to make as the same amount of money as they are making, at least, or even more if possible. So I'm using it as a fuel, and that's one of the great principles I love about the real world. And also just to improve myself each and every day, because there is always something I need to work on. Always.
Are you part of the fitness campus, bro?
Yes, I am.
You
Yes,
are.
I
And have you learned much from the fitness campus?
I did, and there was actually not long ago there was a tip which Alex was sharing, which was one of the best tips I ever received, and that tip is the glycine. You know glycine, like
Yeah, yeah,
the amino acid.
yeah,
Well, the problem with me was that I loved coffee, but for some reason, on some days, I just got very anxious after drinking my coffee for no reason. So after I've been following Alex on Twitter, and after following his advices in the campus, I realized that he shared a tip on the glycine. If you take glycine before drinking a coffee, it just relaxes you completely. You get all the benefits from the coffee, and you don't get any kind of anxiousness or any bad feeling or anything at all.
yeah.
So now I'm able to drink a few coffees per day. I feel completely fine. I feel on fire, focused, sharp. So yeah, that was probably one of the best tips.
So in terms of value, would you say that the real world is worth, its cost just for the fitness campus side of things, regardless of making money?
I think the price is actually very funny in terms of
Mhm.
how much you get out of it. But yeah, I know it has to be accessible to people who don't earn as much. But yeah, the price is definitely very low compared to what you get inside.
Nice, bro. Nice. And how
Yeah,
much money have you made in the real world? Let's ask how much money has the real world made for you?
I haven't really calculated everything together, but I would say I started earning my first online money probably 3 or maybe 4 years ago. Back then, it was just a couple hundred euros per month, nothing serious. But eventually, when I got my best clients, I was able to make from 3 to 5K per month was my
Amazing.
average. Yeah, that was my average. Of course, there comes a month where something goes wrong, you lose a client, you get a new client, or maybe you just can't work as much as you do usually. But for the majority of my months, it's been 2 to maybe 5K at most.
Per
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
Amazing, bro. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. And if you were to give advice to someone who was maybe thinking about joining the real world, what
Mhm.
advice would you give to them about joining the real world in terms of what campuses to join? What package should they buy? Give us a bit more on that.
I'd say just don't overthink and give it a try because it's only 50 bucks. I'm sure that most people have 50 bucks. They have money for drinks, they have money for food, they have money for all the stupid things. So why not try and invest it into something that might change your life in the same way it changed mine? That's what I think.
Amazing.
So, yeah, your life really won't change that much, even if you lose those 50 bucks, even if you join and if you're not satisfied with what you get inside. I mean, 50 bucks is not going to change your life. So give it a try, stop overthinking, and just do it.
If someone who was about to join the campus asked you what package they should buy in terms of should they sign up for a monthly subscription, should they sign up for the Heroes Year, or should they sign up for the Champions package, which package would you recommend to them and why?
Well, if they are a beginner who never even tried the school, I would recommend to start with the basic package just to give
Okay.
it a try. And once, if you like it, just scale it up. Go with the second package if you want. But yeah, I would advise just start low, start slow, and see how it goes, and then scale it up.
Very fair comment. I love the honesty, honest, and that's why I interview guys like yourself because it is important for me to get an honest review. And what would you say to people who would tell you that the real world is a scam? What would you say to them?
Well, I just look at their life, and most of the time, it's shit. Sorry for my so it doesn't really mean anything. Like if there was a millionaire who was doing so much better than me and who said that the real world is a scam,
Hmm.
I might listen to him because I know that his life is so much better than mine. But
Yeah.
the majority of people who say that it's a scam live worse than me, don't have as much money than me, don't live in Dubai at 25 years old like I do. So their opinion doesn't really mean anything to me.
That's amazing. But I asked that question because, there are a lot of like trading courses and people out there who run scam courses. And a lot of
Yeah.
people are very skeptical about parting with their money. But,
Mhm.
you speak to the likes of yourself and people who have actually made, great money from the real world. and
Yeah,
it's refreshing for them to hear. If I was to listen to your own story and I was skeptical about joining the real world, I would straight away change my opinion on it because I'm getting it from the horse's mouth, as they say. So it's
exactly.
it's it's lovely to know, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, what have you learned in the AI campus, if you don't mind me asking?
In the AI campus, I learned how to create my own images, and I also learned how to create my own videos, which later resulted in me selling those images and videos and animation to people who I was already working with. For example, there was a big client I had back in the days who I was getting from at least 2K or maybe even 3K per month every month.
Mhm.
And how it started was that I started selling to this client music only at the beginning, but I saw that this client is actually lacking images for their videos. They're lacking animations for their videos, and I was AI enthusiast from the very beginning, from when ChatGPT first came out. So I was always interested in learning more about AI because I always knew that this is going to be the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I learned my first skills, and I tried to monetize those skills as fast as possible. And later on, like I said, I was just selling the music to this client, and
Mhm.
later on, I was able to sell images as well. I was able to sell animations as well. So this client was paying me a few hundred uh, euros per month, and then we scaled up to a few thousand per month.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Love to hear it, bro.
yeah.
And did the real world help you acquire these clients? Did you find them yourself? Did they help you in terms of finding clients to sell your product to?
No, I found all the clients myself, but
Wow.
the real world helped me get the knowledge to get to the clients in the right way. Like I said
Yeah.
before, I was selling emails, cold emails to the prospects myself before I even joined the real world, and I wasn't successful. And it was just one little twitch switch in the email template I was sending that changed my game completely.
Amazing, bro. And in terms of the social aspect of the real world, have you met people inside the campus that you speak to regularly, maybe share some advice with or skills with that have maybe
Yes,
helped you and you help
yes.
other people?
Yes, it's happening all the time. Not only that, I've also met some people who needed my skills. For example, I do video editing occasionally as well. So when I posted my wins from video editing, a guy reached to me and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a video editor. Can you do this for me?" And that's how I got a new client.
Amazing, bro.
So
Amazing.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty
So
useful.
you so would you say that the real world is a good place for networking too with like-minded individuals?
Exactly, exactly. It is.
Amazing, amazing, bro. And what's next for you? Are you going to join other campuses? Are you going to stay and do what you're doing inside the campuses you're already in, or you tell me what's next for you, bro?
Right now, I do own two YouTube channels, which are faceless and almost completely automated. So
Mhm.
I only need to work maybe 3 or 4 days per month to keep the channels running. And those two channels together make me at least 1.5K per month every month. So I'm going to keep doing what I do right now because the majority of my money is in crypto right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I know that in the next weeks or months, crypto is going to the banana zone,
yeah.
parabolic zone. And once I get the money out of the crypto, I'm going to reinvest this money into my own e-com store, which I already had back in the days. I was already running my own store, but I had to close it down because it didn't make any sense in terms of I had a company in Slovenia, and the amount of money you have to pay back for the taxes, for all the expenses, is
Yeah,
just ridiculous. You're from UK, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you know how the situation in Europe is right now,
Uh huh.
and most of the countries are just going downhill very
Yeah,
fast.
yeah,
Which is why, yeah, I opened the company. I started my online store, my online shop, and when I've seen the expenses and all the money I have to give back to the country, which doesn't even care about me, it just felt not logical, not like a logical move. Which is
yeah.
why we closed down the company there, moved to Dubai, and I'm gonna open the company here very soon.
Amazing, G. Amazing. Do you know what? I'm proud of you, bro. Proud of you,
Thank you,
man.
thank you,
So
thank you.
25 years old, smashing it. So you'd recommend join the real world and move to the UAE. That would be your advice, right?
At
To
least for now.
start
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
start making enough money to move to the UAE like yourself.
Sorry, what?
When you make enough money to move to the UAE like yourself, you'd
Yeah.
recommend to move to the UAE.
Exactly. Or at least give it a try. That's how I started. I
Yeah.
never intended to stay here. I just wanted to give it a try. That's why I came here in February. And I said to myself that I'm going to stay here for 2 or maybe 3 months at most. And I'm going to
Yeah.
move back to Slovenia for the summer. And then I'm going to decide if I like it, I'm going to come back. If I don't like it, I'm going to find another option. But right now, I like it pretty much. So
Amazing.
I'm probably coming back.
Amazing. Well, look, it's lovely to meet you. Hopefully, one day I might meet you for a coffee, bro. Who knows?
I've
So
been in Paul Jumeirah. I've been in Marina most of my time. So yeah, we might bump into each other very soon.
make sure you say hello, bro. It's lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Have a great day. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.